Okay, Ted, what are your immediate thoughts after seeing that skit from Kevin Nash in the NWO?
Uh, Horrible, horrible. That I don't know. I just uh,
Tasteless?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It was like uh, here's a guy who's forced to retire, and you're basically making fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that. I don't think I was there when they did that.
I don't think you were at TV for it, no.
No, and that's the first time I did. I've seen it, and it's like I'm sorry, that was disgusting.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
been the
it's so like it's like it's one thing when you work a program and like somebody like and it's a work. It's a work. It's like it's not real. It's like okay, we're gonna make believe that somebody's retiring and something. Now you go out and give that speech to something like that that's gonna end up backfiring later. Okay, but when you're talking about a real guy who really got to retire, that's I don't know. I just tasteless.
apparently Arn Anderson and the Horsemen were all extremely offended, of course, by this whole thing. And Arn would confront Kevin Nash at a hotel later on, and Kevin would say, like, "Hey, look, like you knew that we were doing this," but Arn essentially said, "I didn't know that you guys are taking it that far." I guess Arn's wife, Erin, called him and said they made you look like a fucking drunk out there. And like the whole thing just did not go over well at all, and it just kind of increased the behind the scenes issues between like, the real life issues between guys like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Ric Flair, especially because it seems like they were really taking a shot at Flair by having Six dressed up in the background sobbing and acting like he was
Yeah,
Rick.
yeah,
Yeah, the whole thing, now it has kind of become the topic of debate a little bit, and I've actually talked about it, before where, before I got to know Arn Anderson, I saw this and I was like, "Kinda good heat," they're going toward Fall Brawl right now, and the idea, like, okay, if the Horsemen can get some comeuppance because they insulted, their guy, then, okay, maybe it's good heat and they can capitalize on it. However, at Fall Brawl, the Horsemen did not go over, the NWO won. So it's the whole thing because of that comes off as pointless, right?
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, yeah. I had never seen that.
Well, the Horsemen later on in that same show were supposed to do a run-in on an NWO match and beat them up, but Flair apparently flat out refused to go out, and with his reason being, "I'm not going out." First of all, he's pissed off, but second of all, because why didn't we run out when they were insulting our friend earlier in the show? If we're here, then we should have run out earlier and stopped them while they were, casting these insults. He's like, "So now it makes us look ridiculous to go out there. I'm not going out."
Yeah,
Do you remember this much behind the scenes kind of tension and sort of like the environment, in the WWF during your days in the WWF? Do you
well,
remember
oh,
people getting worked into a shoot?
well, here's the thing: the WWF, everybody knew who the boss was.
Mm,
It's Vince, and he's got the last word. That whoever his booker is wherever ultimately the orders are coming from headquarters. The problem, with the WCW and that whole thing with Bischoff. I mean, Bischoff Bischoff put himself into the thing, and I mean, you got a guy running the show who doesn't really know squat about wrestling. That Bischoff, Eric, like I don't have anything personally against Eric. Personally he's a nice guy, but you know, um, it just wasn't. It was this way: too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Ted, as far as I can tell, you've always been very much on the level. Wrestling is business, and you were about business. Have you ever been worked into a shoot?
No,
Never.
no, no.
I couldn't really picture it, but I thought it was worth asking given the circumstances because
No.
that's what was happening a lot in WCW during this time.